Well, hello, mamas. Welcome to the last video, all about recovering from seeing your teen's report card. We're focusing on extra credit today. So before we start talking about how your teen actually can ask for extra credit, what kind of extra credit your teen should be ready to do, I want to know, does your teen do extra credit? Like, if he's given the opportunity, is that something your teen has done, is willing to do up to this point? Let me know down below, yes or no, because that is a very, very key part to what we're going to talk about today. If we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name's Jessica Coulter. I am the study tutor at Ace Cookie Tutoring. So I help teens love to learn by teaching them how to learn. If you haven't joined my Facebook group already, would love to have you join us there after the group. Links in the description. All right, so extra credit. Your teen might get it. He might not get it. Like, literally, some teachers offer it, some teachers don't. Okay. But I asked you, does your teen do it? Because if your teen isn't doing homework, like that's something I should have said extra credit. If your teen doesn't do extra credit when it's offered, that's problem number one. No matter if your teen has an A in the class, a C in the class, no matter what that grade is right now, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks from now, whenever your teen is offered extra credit, no matter how easy it is, no matter how difficult it is, your teen should do it. Okay? So whenever teens tell you, I don't have homework, ask them, do you have extra credit you could be doing? Is there something that you could do to make it a better project? Is that something optional that would help your grade? Because sometimes extra credit is an extra assignment, something literally they don't have to do because it's just an optional thing. But also sometimes extra credit is something as simple as you wrote 3 pages. Well, if you do an extra source, you get an extra 10 points. Or maybe, if you do this many slides instead of this many slides, or you can include that or go to this level, it's more points. Okay, so definitely help your teen realize that. Look for extra credit opportunities because they do exist, especially if your teen's in middle school, sometimes even especially in lower level high school. But if your teen doesn't take advantage of those extra opportunities, those extra credit opportunities, well, then I can't feel very bad if your teen's grades aren't the best. You definitely, mama, should not feel bad. And that even more importantly here, the teacher not going to be very sympathetic if he's already offered lots of extra credit and your teen has not taken advantage. Okay? So before we move into the next part of the video here, what to do if your teen isn't offered extra credit, and that does happen. There are teachers that don't offer it, school districts that are very ixnay on that. Do you know I'm live on Facebook and I'm live on YouTube? So if you're not a subscriber, not a follower of Ace Cookie Tutoring, be sure to hit that follow button, that subscribe button, turn on the notifications because there will be more videos this week, let alone in the future, all about school, all about studying, because I want your teens to succeed by actually knowing how to learn so they can love to learn. All right, so what do you do if your teen hasn't been offered extra credit? Well, the second part of this equation, the second thing to do when recovering from those not so great grades when it comes to extra credit is realize, mama, your teen is not guaranteed to get extra credit. Okay. And I got to tell you too, if you ask for the extra credit, the teacher is much more likely to say no to you than the teacher is to say to your teen. Okay. So that's a second key component. Your teen, especially if you actually have a teen, somewhere in high school, especially in college, your teen is not going to get very far with the teachers when it comes to extra credit if you're the one asking instead of your teen. Now, the third part to this, to your teen asking for extra credit, to actually getting extra credit, well, your teen has to ask for it in a way that is legit, okay? If your teen sends an email to the teacher saying, hey, look, my grade sucks, it's not what I want, give me extra credit, not going to go very well. But if your teen says, hey, look, I've been trying really hard. And again, remember, we're going to talk about kind of accountability here and actually, effort in a moment. But if your teen sends an email and says, hey, look, I've done all my assignments. I've tried really hard. I've asked for help. I'm doing what I know I can do. And, your teen's actually done his best, has actually gone to the teacher and sends an email that is well thought out, that is very considerate, And, it's something as simple as your teen maybe has an 89 in the class, it's an A in the class. Or maybe he's right there on the border of passing and asks for something, just asks, hey, what do I need to do to get this A or get this passing grade? Or what can I do to bump up to the next grade level? Whatever it is that you're trying to do, and more importantly, that your teen is trying to do, that is legitimate. Okay, your kid's teacher probably will say yes to an email, to a conversation that's, like I said, actually thought out. Okay. Now, do you know, though, on the accountability side here, on the effort side, if your teen has sat in class, not said a word the whole semester, your teen hasn't turned in a single assignment, has been flunking all tests, and hasn't seemed concerned about it, hasn't gone to the teacher, hasn't asked for help, hasn't taken advantage of any like retake policies or late work policies, anything like that, then you're the teacher, then that means the kid doesn't care. Unfortunately, your tween, your teen, your college student, if he goes to the teacher and says, I need extra credit, I want extra credit, no matter how thoughtful it is, no matter how well spoken your teen is, if there's nothing to back it up, there's no proof that your teen has cared about that class up to that point, the teacher is not going to bend over backwards. Okay. So with all of that being said, we are in November. We're getting so close to finals. We're getting so close to the end of the semester. If your teen wants extra credit, needs extra credit, now is the time to ask. Do not have your teen to ask the day before Thanksgiving. But if your teen doesn't take finals until mid or even late December, and I know some schools even do it after January or in January, ask for extra credit now while your teen has time over Thanksgiving break. Okay, your teen can study. You guys are driving to grandma's house, as you're flying to see, Uncle so-and-so. You can definitely have your teen do extra credit over Thanksgiving. Okay, so any questions, drop them down below. Even better, join my Facebook group. Ask them in there, because there are all sorts of amazing mamas in that group that have some thoughts, some feedback for you. And we can continue our conversation there. We can even do a mini training about recovering from your teen's report card if you've got follow-up questions. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join my group as well so you can snag my homework buster for free. It's 5 tips to bust through your teen's homework objections. Links below. Answer a couple questions and you'll be in. I'll see you tomorrow for a new series all about helping your teen this time of the school year. And if you've got specific questions, specific ideas, I want to know them so we can create a series just for you. Bye, mamas. Talk to you tomorrow.